We're finally back out here at the big rotten reframe project. Good to be back here. Last time we were here, we were finishing cutting the second floor out. So now we can start getting stuff put back together again. Let's go inside and check things out. Well, that's going to be a problem. I guess we can't quite get where we need to go. I'll walk around back. So first big test here. Play with wires in the corner. Get this rotted section of beam out. As we said in previous videos, it really wasn't so bad before we started, but I don't know, between new weight or just uncovering it or cleaning it up or what, it turned out to be not so great, especially here. And we looked all over this. This must have not been very clear when we started, but yeah, that's not great. And then behind it, under the entryway, we're going to tear this rotted wood out. We're going to re-support the concrete that holds the tile. That should allow us to peel this mess apart. I'm not exactly sure what's what there anymore. Some floor joists, other stuff. And if you remember, there was that old tight set of collapsing stairs right there. We also need to clean this whole entry up, get that taken apart, salvage what we can. It's a mess. So I don't think it's going to take a whole lot to get that down. Let's find out. Well, hit it a little harder.
I just touched the board, it fell out.
You think that's seen some water? Not in great condition anymore. So I guess the good news is this seems to be relatively self-supporting for now. Don't hit it too hard. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna build a support wall, and then we really don't have to worry about it going anywhere because looks like it was kind of poured and then some more was pieced on. I don't know. But that needs to stay. Well, to get started with this small stuff, we need some materials. So ran out to Lowe's to grab a small amount of lumber. We're gonna get a big order delivered from the lumber yard for most of the second floor, but we need things today. So this is convenient, and had the first time we had somebody stop us and say, "Hey, I watch your videos. Love them." So that was pretty cool. Guess we gotta, unfortunately, pick this all up and load it.
In the wrong place.
Well, that's what happens when you think.
Yeah.
Got the wall all put together. Each was cut to size because the top sags down, the bottom sags down. So easier to get the two sides up than measure. And we did it on 12-inch centers here, partially because it worked out better, because it's right at 6 feet long, but also wanted to get some good support in here. That's a lot of potential weight up there. And of course, pressure treated top and bottom plates because we are in contact with concrete. Unfortunately, I think we're actually out of time today. I have my annual wellness exam. Is that what they call your annual physical now? Today, which was scheduled a year ago. So random chance that today is the day. So tomorrow we're going to get bracing where Dave is standing on all these. Yeah, well, I think you're actually just going to stand there and hold it. Yeah, for possibly days. I hope it doesn't take that long to replace this beam. So we'll get the bracing in place, get the old beam out, get the new beam in. May have to do. That brick looks okay. Maybe we'll see. We'll see when we pull the old wood out. So pack up for today. Back bright and early tomorrow. Looks potentially stormy tomorrow. So good thing we're under roof. Back at it the next day. I got a clean bill of health, which I was hoping for, but I do need to lose weight, which I also knew. So, status quo. First task up is get some 2x4s attached to these floor joists. Easier just to attach it to the side than build a temporary wall. No need to overcomplicate things. Then we can cut the nails and pull out the shims and ultimately get the old rotten beam out of place. While the bracing goes in place, I've made myself a little make-work project here. We had quite a storm come through at about 2:30 a.m. this morning. Had an hour straight or so of just constant lightning and house rattling thunder. Got terrible sleep, bunch of rain. May have some midday storms as well while we're here. And I am tired of the water dripping off the roof right over the doorway because the gutters still aren't on. This is supposed to be soon. There was some complications with the roofers not leaving the board, the gutter board. See, it's partially next door, so hopefully soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to build ourselves a little bit of an awning so we stop getting dripped on, and maybe more importantly than us, the water stops splashing back onto the subfloor. Given enough time, that'll be a problem. Best to avoid that. Got all the bracing in place. So you can see, somebody jumped the gun, cut it out without recording, so can't bring you the fun of collapsing stuff. It's okay. So, not a terribly deep pocket. Brick's a little loose. We should probably fix that up. Did you, yeah. Because the post probably just sits on a piece of stone.
I think it's concrete around.
Well, yes, it's concreted around, but
We got a serious problem. We ran out of battery.
it's the battery in the light.
Go ahead and give me that battery.
There's a battery on the fan. It's a lot of work just to avoid going up the ladder.
We made it. And the battery.
I guess we need to get some chargers out.
Yeah. Need to get some.
I brought a bigger hammer.
Somebody nailed this good.
Save that. It's profit. wee little bit. Break the nubbin off.
That's it.
The middle actually had several areas of quite good wood left still, but each end was pretty bad. This one was crushed and partially rotted. Wait till you see this end. Well, there's your problem. Got my little awning complete. Just a little triangle. And it's only going to last for a few months, something like that. So that should be good enough. Meanwhile, across the street on a building we'll be doing some work on at some point in this whole combo of 3 buildings here. Masons have been rebuilding the back corner here, and they got the block pretty much finished, just a little bit up there on the parapet. Then they can get the face brick back in place. So then inside, the joists in this back section are shot as well. So we'll be replacing those, and this building on the whole is in much better condition than the buildings across the street. But still some problems. They showed up this morning after the rain, but I think they looked at the forecast and saw the potential for, at the very least, we're getting some storms in a couple hours, potentially severe, although that looks to stay to the south. So I think they decided not to mix up any mud. Mortar and storms, not the greatest mix in the world. And then looks wet for a couple more days, so they may lose a few days here. I guess we'll see. Thankfully we're inside, although with the potential for severe, we may call it early as well. Got this front board now, last floor joist up here, and I think this may just fall right out. Let me adjust myself here. So with how out of square this floor was, these double joists actually comes over at an angle and ends up under the marble here. So I think before we knock it out, we should probably pull that. And when I say pull it, Dave's gonna walk around, so we do this more a little more gingerly, but not a lot holding it down.
I didn't think it was going to fall out that quick.
Well, that came apart really quick. It just picked right up, so that's good for us, but shows the condition of the building.
That's not good.
Well, it's the condition we knew it was. Yeah, it's, even though this was covered, it clearly got water when the roof was having issues.
That goes into a pocket over here.
Well, yeah. So to redo this, we'll probably end up knocking back this concrete, which is already separated and was probably added in separately from the rest of this mud bed.
Yeah, that's a piece of marble too.
Yeah, well, it's the front of the same thing here, if we can get that out. So we'll knock this all out. We'll probably pull the new joists flush with the tile and mud bed that we're going to keep. And that'll make this easier to get the new doors back in place.
Yeah.
That's the plan, at least.
Yeah, there it is.
Currently, I believe this is being held up by the friction of it sliding against that, because it started to go a little bit.
It's going. Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to get this side.
Well, you may have to
I don't know if
slice.
this is going to come loose. This seems tighter. But if it doesn't fall, I mean, that's just free floating.
This guy is stayed. No, that's made. It's tough. That's chewed kind of. What if we need to? If we just slice this down with the sawzall.
I think it's just going to fall out. If you want to, I'll step back.
I don't think it's gonna move.
I was going to knock it down and get the satisfaction of doing it, but if you want to just hit it now, I'll get the ladder back.
Yeah, get back. Alright, it's ready to fall. It was going.
If it, well, knock it free from that joist, it'll fall. Probably. Allegedly. Potentially.
I just don't want to fall with it.
Well, that's why we put that wall under it. There we go. Well, that works, and the piece of marble stayed up.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad we built the wall.
turns out we put this wall in just about the right spot. Right at the edge of it.
Oh, that door jam wiggles though.
Yeah, well, I think it was already wiggling. Okay, I guess we got some more cleanup now.
I'm glad I cleaned that up.
Yeah, well, the cleanup never ends. All things considered, that was pretty simple.
Safety.
Yep, put the safety first back.
Safety boards back.
Don't want anybody to break in the front door thinking they're going to get something nice and then take the first long step. Wah! Apparently there was a J inside this beam. We're going to start getting the second floor level figured out. And in comparison to the first floor, we don't have any existing conditions that we have to work off of like we had with the beam. Here, well, as much as is left, but we're gonna figure out level off the front where we left that one joist that we're gonna sister and carry that through, which may mean modifying some of these pockets to make that work. Because as we know from the first floor, this wall appears to have sunk down over time, especially in comparison to the front, and then side to side as well. So we're gonna go around, or well, already did go around, and make a bunch of marks using the grade laser. Oh, camera was briefly, yeah, it even picks up the laser. So I went around the whole exterior, made those marks, then we can use that as a continual reference point, and we measured up some of them, and there's some interesting differences, like 67 inches to the theoretical floor level from our mark there, and like 63 inches in parts of back here. Now we'll check that all out again, but it's a bit of a difference. So I don't know exactly what that means yet, but at least we have our marks that we can find our level. All right, so slightly further discussion on this, as Dave just pointed out. We are going to frame the right side here, which is the south, because it's the kitchen. We are not framing out the left side. Unfortunately, this is the higher side, so we can't just make that up with the wall like we would have been able to if this was the higher side, not the lower side. It'd be easier, and we wouldn't need to raise the pockets at all. So goes it.
May have to talk to the owner and convince him to change.
Well, yeah, I think that calls for flat framing. It's really not that big of a difference if we studied that out. We'll call in and find out. It started raining, storms are headed this way, and I'll keep working here in the rain, but with the chance of severe storms, this is really not the best place to be, so we're gonna head home and we'll hit it again tomorrow, although it's potentially stormy again, so I guess we'll see what that means. Stormy yesterday, stormy this morning, so our little awning got its first and second test, and it's an improvement. Not perfect, but it's better. Good. We got the go-ahead to build full stud walls on each side to support the floor joists. That'll make things a little bit easier, but we want to get the loose plaster off the walls before we do that. As you can see, there's quite a bit of it. We knocked a bunch of it off at the closer to the floor when we put the first floor in, but we were basically doing what we needed to for the floor, so I guess we'll see. That seems kind of solid there. We'll see how much ends up coming off. We'll get the old track from the suspended ceiling down, clean things up nicely. So you do end up with deeper trim around the windows, when you stud it out, but I think that looks good, honestly. So the worst part about tearing plaster off is you have to shovel it up when you're done. The replacement beam here will be 3 2x10s. Plenty strong enough according to the span charts. Or actually, I think I calculated that out of Weyerhaeuser's online tool. Wherever I did, it's good. It covers the strength that we need. So the height is different though. So we had pulled one brick out yesterday, you can see, and we need to get back to that pencil line. But I don't want to put it right over these bricks. There's a header course there, and conveniently it's got a partial brick in there. We're going to fix that up a little bit, get it back to the height. We'll probably set it on pressure treated board going the other way. That'll distribute the weight a little bit more, be all good and happy. So gonna disassemble just a little bit, reassemble what we need. Got everything cleaned up. Those header course bricks ended up being broken, so just pulled those out. I'm gonna make a level mortar bed, and then we're gonna get a piece of pressure treated 2x10 in there, which the beam will end up bearing on. So that'll work out pretty nicely. So that's the completed first step. Gonna let that cure up. We'll get the 2x10s and the, well, 2x10 beam as well. It's all 2x10s in place, and then infill around it after that. Got the first section all scraped off and cleaned up. As you can see, quite a bit of it came off. So moving along to the next stretch here, and it seems like a good chunk of it's coming off there as well. So keep moving along to down here. Now this up here seems to be pretty solid at this point. Yeah, a little bit. Not enough. Well, don't hit yourself.
Gotta watch all the time.
Yep. So while the plaster's coming off this wall, I've been going along figuring out what our height discrepancy is here. And it turns out, if you start at the front with that joist, it is 3 inches lower back here. So that's quite a bit, and it really wouldn't matter too much if there wasn't a door up there with a stone sill, and it's going to be hard to put a new door unit in when that is too low. That actually sits about 2.5 inches lower than where the subfloor will be. So the solution there is work with what we got, see if the masons can raise that when they're back. If that's cost prohibitive, you can always put a new stone sill on top. You can come up with some other solution. It's easier to just worry about that spot than try to like build the whole thing so on level that it's not terribly noticeable, but it still lines up with that door. That doesn't make much sense. Or try to lower the whole thing. Then our pockets up front that we need to reuse are too high. So sometimes with an old building like this, you just gotta work with what you're given. And that's honestly why I like renovations more than new construction. You have to do some thinking and figuring out and problem solving. New construction, you'll get some of that, but generally, as long as your foundation guys did a good job, you're probably not going to have many problems. So, since we have that figured out, I think that's the last problem for the floors. I've been going along using our reference points, measuring up the 66 inches, marking, and then going down to the floor and getting our to top of joist height. That's what that 127 is, or in a couple spots, 126.5, as the case may be, like in the back corner here, and then up at the front where it starts raising. Now that we have that information, we can start building our 2x4 walls in this side, between the chimneys, better around the chimneys, and then this side. I still gotta do a little bit of measuring and verifying over here, but this is just a nice straight run, and getting all that plaster off allows us to set it back a half inch to an inch, which is nice to gain back into the floor square footage. So a little bit more, can't talk. A little bit more to knock off, a little bit more to clean up, and we'll be good to go. So up top here, it's thinner than it was at the bottom. The wall does seem to lean in just a little bit. And nice thing about plaster is you can float it out to get that perfectly smooth plumb wall. Of course, once the water gets behind it for 100-something years, maybe bond. I don't think you can reach anymore.
Almost long enough.
Come on, Stretch Armstrong.
Got a longer bar.
Oh, yeah, okay. Blame my bar.